welcome. I am excited to be doing this video. This is going to be a combination video. I'll get into what it is in a second, but thank you for coming. Please give a like and subscribe. If you are new to the channel and you find this content helpful, hit the notification bell and you will be notified of the next video. I keep getting requests for DevOps videos. This is going to be kind of a combo. I'm going to be covering a little bit of Vite, spelled V-I-T-E, and it is a build tool similar to Create React App, if you're familiar with that. But it is really cool. Going to show you that. And I also wanted to get into what Git is and GitHub and how to hook those up, because one of the key tools with DevOps is going to be a version control, right? Revision control, history and commit control is going to be crucial when it comes to DevOps. And this is something that even if you're not going to be a DevOps engineer, you're going to need to know even if you're just a software developer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Vite. Now, Vite is, like I said, very similar to Create React App. However, it varies in some very important ways. So to create a Vite project, we type in npm Vite, npm create Vite at latest. And now what you're going to see here is it walks us through some setup, such as when you do like a npm init if you are creating a project from scratch yourself. We'll just leave this as, I'll just say my project. Package name, we'll just leave that my project. And then look here, guys, this is one of the things that makes Vite so cool. You can do this in vanilla JavaScript, you can do it in Vue, you can do it in React, Preact, Lite, Svelte. I mean, it just keeps going. I'm going to do React. I love React. And then check this out. So not only can I choose what framework I want to use, I also can choose either JavaScript or TypeScript. That is so cool. So I'm just going to go with JavaScript. And you can see you can this varies slightly from Create React App in that Create React App would run this part for you, but this is small potatoes compared to what we're getting by using Vite. So we now have in our directory a folder called My Project. So we'll cd into My Project. And then once we're in here, we npm install, and that's going to install the packages that Vite needs to get going. And once that's done, we can just do our npm run dev, and guys, watch this. Look at how fast that was. I mean, just lightning fast. Our development server is already up and running. We can come over here, drop that in here, and holy cow. I mean, did you guys see how fast that fired up? And the crazy part is, so when I've developed Gatsby applications before, as the application starts to get more complex, the development environment could take a significant portion of time, not just to run initially, but on hot reloads. And the hot reloads for Vite are lightning fast, guys. This is a game changer for local development. I gotta tell you, so excited about using this. So that is our very short explanation into what Vite is and how to use it. You guys, I hope that you find it helpful. If you do, comment below and let me know what your favorite framework and what your favorite language is. So let's pause our development environment here, and I want to talk about what Git is. So now that I have a project, I want to, I already have installed Git. If you are unfamiliar with installing software on a Mac, I recommend that you go to look up Homebrew. It's a package manager for Mac, and it is very helpful for installing software. And so for me, after I have Homebrew installed, I've had it installed for a long time, you would just type in brew install git, and then it will install it for you. And no problem, super easy, right? But after I've got git installed, once I am in the location where my project lives, I do a git init, and now I have a repository inside of my project directory. Okay, and once git is installed, now I can start creating these snapshots. Well, you can create snapshots, you can create branches. So right now I can say git status, and it tells me, hey, you have these untracked files. And if you want to track these files, use git add and the file name to include what will be committed. So git is another tool that is crucial for development, and it's crucial because once you have a commit committed, it's called, is saved right into the history of your project, at any given point in time you run into a problem, you can do some git commands to revert back to that point in time. So if you break something, let's say I go in here, I'm just going to add. Now you typically would not add your, you typically would not add all of this stuff. Let me look here. Index you would add, package lock, yes, because it's the new one. You typically would not add your package lock. You would save that for when you're adding new NPM modules or other applications or other packages to your project. But typically your package lock would be inside your git ignore, and what let's take a look at that. I'll show you guys what that is. Let's do a nano dot git ignore. Whoops. So a git ignore, this is telling Git everything that I don't want you to look at. So Git will, anything that's in here by default, Git will leave it out from tracking, and it won't take it into account when looking at any changes. So you want to have this updated. Obviously you do not want to be saving all of your node modules. This is, that's why we have our package.json. Your package.json, if you guys are not familiar, is what tells NPM what software is required to run the application. And then anytime that you would add a module in, you would force the add of the package lock, right? But you typically would leave that off. So that's what a git ignore file is. That's what git is. I'm going to exit out of here. And I'm just going to go ahead and git add asterisks, and now I've added all of those to staging, ready to be committed, minus the git ignore file, because that's just a file for Git. We don't want to be saving that. However, if you are working for an enterprise and they have particular requirements, you may find that the git ignore file is included in yours, and that's because they want to make sure that everybody is excluding the same stuff. So once you have all of these files added to the staging area, you can unstage them, right? And you can see this up here. It says changes to be committed. Use git remove -- cached and then file to unstage it. So if I made a mistake at this point, I could then remove the file, right? I'm going to go ahead and commit these. So I'm going to do a git commit, and I'm doing a special -m, which means I want to add my own message, and I'm going to call this the initial commit, right? Because it's the first one that I'm doing for my project. So now you can see that Git says, hey, master root commit. It gives you the first few characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the first 7 characters of the hash associated with that commit, and it tells you how many files were changed, how many insertions, how many deletions. There's no deletions this time. But now let's say that inside of my one of these files, let's just go into let's just open up the HTML index.html. let's come in here and just type a bunch of crazy stuff. Let's say I was really drunk the night before and I made all kinds of mistakes. And then you can see here I'm saving this file, save, exit, and if I do a git status, now you can see that Git is saying, hey, I see that you've modified that file, index.html. And at this point in my my day, once I've sobered up, if I was aware that the changes I made there were changes that broke the application, I could simply do a git restore index.html, hit enter, and if I say git status now, you'll see that index.html is no longer being labeled as having changed. And if I do a nano index.html and look, you can see here everything that I had typed in there, even though I had saved a file, was completely reverted back to the way it was at the time the snapshot was taken. So guys, you can see why this would be super powerful in your development. And there actually is another way. So let's say that I was unaware that the changes I made when I was drunk caused any problems with my application, and I committed those changes. Let's say I added them, committed them. You still can do a git log, and this will tell you every commit, every snapshot that you have in your history. And you can do a git reset to a particular point, and you type in git reset, and then you'd start typing in the hash of the commit that you want to go back to, and it will go back to that point in time, and then you would commit, you'd add all of the files from that time and create another commit using all the files from the project at that point in time, and you're good to go. No more problems. So the next step, obviously, right, like this is great to have this on your local machine, but we're talking about DevOps, and so we're talking about development and operations working together, collaboration, and in that regard, you would want to have this hooked up to a repository, a remote repository it's called. So let's go ahead and create one. So go to github.com, create an account if you don't have one, and create a repository. Okay, so once we have our remote repository created, there's a few different ways to hook your local to the remote. You can see here the instructions: create new repository from the command line or push an existing repository from the command line. But before you can do those things, you're going to have to set up what's called a personal access token. So in order to do that, you come up here to click your profile, go to settings, scroll down on the left here, go to developer settings, and then personal access tokens, going to tokens classic, and then generate a new token. And it's going to give you a choice of everything that token can do, and then you click generate token. So once you have your token created, then you can use that token to perform the steps that they laid out in the back here at the home page. So once you have the two linked together, now you can see how in working in a group, this would be super helpful because you can maintain your own copy locally of all of the changes. You would have a repository that has, and I have nothing in here, so you have the repository that has all of the code that is working. One of the things that we use this extensively in my work is the issues tab, and you can create issues and assign them to people that are in your organization attached to your GitHub account. So you can create an issue and say, found a bug. You can give it labels. We have labels, high priority, low priority, UI specific, logic related. There's all kinds of labels you can give them. But you can see how this is a collaborative, bringing the development and the operations together, and communication. You also can hook this up to your Slack channel, and I can maybe show you guys that at some time in the future, but you can hook up your GitHub repository to your Slack channel, and so anytime that there is an issue created or closed or a new push to the repository from someone's local computer, everyone in the project would get notified. So I hope that you guys have found this helpful. Give a like and subscribe. Check out my website, consultingninja.tech, where I have loads of free resources put together for you guys. I also have a contact form. You can contact me directly with any problems there. Comment below on other videos you'd like me to make. And I hope that you have a great day. Bye.